What's up, YouTube? And I'm back at you with another video. And in today's video, I'm just going to do a quick recap of Week 10. A lot of stuff went down in this week, guys. And I'm going to start off with number one, Georgia. What can I say? Definitely the number one team in the country. And I'm going to be honest, they keep playing the way they're playing. I don't see nobody stopping them. They're definitely, doing what they're supposed to do. Looking like the Alabama of old, and that's hard for me to say as an Alabama fan, but I got to give props where it's due. Georgia is doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They go out there and dominate. They dictate to the team that they're going to win the game. And like I said, it looks like the Alabama of old. Kirby Smart is doing a heck of a job over there. Georgia's just doing everything they need to do. I just give them props. They beat a good team in Tennessee. Tennessee is not no slouch, and they definitely showed up for their game. I've read, a lot of people saying, the environment for Tennessee was kind of affected them. But yeah, Georgia, it was loud. It seemed like it was very, very loud out there, and they might have got to Tennessee, but nevertheless, Georgia completely shut down Tennessee's offense. And they got a late, touchdown in the end, but it was in garbage time. Georgia definitely deserves that number one title, and it's gonna be hard for anybody to beat them. But I'm going to the next team, Ohio State. Struggle with Northwestern. If I'm not mistaken, Northwestern was only had one win, 7 losses. I don't know what's going on with Ohio State offensively. The last couple of games they played, these defenses been getting to them. Iowa started off, playing really, really good. Actually, Notre Dame, if you want to be honest, all these teams are playing them really, really good on the defensive side of the ball. And after Notre Dame, they played Iowa. Then they played Penn State. Penn State had a good showing with them, and then just recently Northwestern. Like I said, a team with only one victory. It was tough for Ohio State, to get things offensively, but they still got good skill players, and definitely has one of the best offenses in the country. But they're gonna have to figure something out because they still got to play a good team in Michigan down the line, and Michigan is looking really, really good as well. But Ohio State still has one of the best offenses. Their defense is playing very, very well. They held Northwestern to 7 points, so still one of the best teams in the country, and I definitely see them as number two behind Georgia. But they're gonna have to get it rolling offensively. Um, Next team I'll talk about is Clemson. Clemson took a loss to Notre Dame. Um, Huge upset. You know, we all figured Clemson was going to get that victory, but Notre Dame came in there and just dominated the game, guys. I know at one point Clemson hadn't scored, but I see they scored 2 times, but I wasn't able to watch that game fully. But I was just looking at the score. I was like, wow, upset Saturday. But Clemson got to look to bounce back. Um, I don't know how far they fallen in the rankings, but gonna have to keep an eye on that. Like I said, when you playing in college football, it's better to lose early than to lose late because late in the season you get a better gauge of where your team is, and losing to Notre Dame that kind of hurts Clemson's chances, and I don't know how far they're gonna fall down. They was the number 4 team in the country, so I'm not sure where they're gonna be now, but they took a tough loss to a Notre Dame team with a new head coach. Speaking of new head coach, I need to talk about my Alabama Crimson Tide. We took a loss to LSU. LSU is a good team, but it was a team that I thought Alabama should have been able to beat. And apparently we got a lot of problems that we need to fix. Um, and it starts with coaching. Nick Saban has to do. He has to get the blame. We praise Nick Saban when he gets the victories. We got to give him criticism when we lose. And credit, we've lost to these teams by a combined 4 points, but still, Alabama's not playing at the standard that we started playing with. Alabama definitely has a lot of work to do, and I think, at this point, we just have to ride the wave with, what we have right now. But I think a lot of changes are going to come in the off season, and they're going to have to be some changes because we can't keep playing like how we're playing. Players playing with anxiety. We've never heard that as Alabama fans, like anxiety, like what? But definitely some coaching problems and player problems as well. just the whole program as a whole. Nick Saban's just going to have to do a complete override and just start at the top, like I said, evaluate himself and the team as a whole. But great win for LSU. They beat us at their house, and they deserved a victory this game. They was the better team. They played better. Uh, really, Alabama should have more losses on the season. The way we've been playing, not just this season, but as late as last season as well. So, but Brian Kelly gets his first victory. He said he wanted to come to the SEC and beat Nick Saban. He did it on his first try. So congratulations to LSU. Um, and we'll have to see what happens with both teams, going forward. Alabama got Ole Miss coming up. We're going to really see what this Alabama team is about. But good victory for LSU. We'll move over to Michigan, beat Rutgers 52-17. Like I said, Michigan is a very, very good team. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're beating teams, you know, that, that they're better in. Rutgers, doesn't have the players to compete with Michigan, but still, you can get beat by any team, and Michigan is doing what they're supposed to do. They go out there and get the job done. So Michigan beat them 52-17. So good win. TCU beat Texas Tech 34-24. I thought TCU was going to run away with it in that game, but they only got a 10-point victory. They still won. They're still undefeated. But TCU is one of the best teams in the country as well. They can potentially be in the playoffs in the end. If they continue to win out, they can definitely be in there. Um, Nothing else I can say about TCU. They're just doing their job and they're playing very, very well. A couple of years ago, TCU was undefeated and was doing very well, but they didn't get in the playoffs. But they might get a chance this year if they continue to do what they're doing. Looking phenomenal. Oregon, another team that's doing very, very well. Beat Colorado 49-10, a team they should have beat. Oregon, ever since the Georgia loss, they've done nothing but continue to win. And Bo Nix is doing a heck of a job. He putting up some good, decent numbers this season, guys. And definitely a player to look out for. But Oregon could potentially get in the playoffs as well. To me, they're leading in the Pac-12 as being the best team in the country. And definitely going to have to watch out for them. They might sneak in the playoffs. Southern Cal, they beat California 41-35. It's hard to gauge USC. I mean, they're getting wins. They have a loss, but they're kind of, still struggling here and there. Caleb Williams is one of the good quarterbacks in the league right now, and he definitely has weapons around him, but they're still kind of, not where you think they should be, considering. I know the team is full of transfers, so maybe that might have something to do with it. Teams trying to gel with each other, and but USC is definitely a team, to look out for as well, in the Pac-12. So UCLA beat Arizona State 50-36. Like I said, another Pac-12 team. Like I said, between Oregon, USC, and UCLA, and Utah, good four teams in the conference. But like I said, in my opinion, Oregon's leading the pack. So, but Pac-12 got a lot of competition. Texas beat Kansas State 34-27. A Texas team that's been up and down this season. Quinn Ewers got hurt in the Alabama game, and they took a couple of losses after he was gone. But since he's came back, they've been winning games, but it's kind of, they're kind of still struggling with teams. And Kansas State is no slouch. They're one of the best teams in the Big 12. So, again, a good victory over Kansas State, a good Kansas State team, that was ranked ahead of them. Good victory for Texas. So Sarkisian's doing a heck of a job with the Longhorns, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does going forward. So good win for Texas. Like I said, Utah, the number 14 team in the country, they probably went up since then, but they beat Arizona 45-20. Like I said, another good team in the Pac-12. Again, the victory over a not so good Arizona team, but like I said, still go out there and do what you're supposed to do. Penn State beat Indiana 45-14. Like I said, Penn State, another good team. Getting the win over Indiana, just doing what they're supposed to do. Michigan State beat Illinois, a good Illinois team. Illinois silently been pretty good this season, and Fred Bielema was doing a good job with them having them ranked and everything. And Michigan State got the victory. We all know Michigan State is missing a whole lot of players. They just had an incident where the players jumped on a Michigan player, and they definitely have. I think they suspended those guys indefinitely. You know, but a Michigan State team that's kind of depleted, but they still was able to pull out that victory against a good Illinois team. So Michigan was able to get that. North Carolina beat Virginia 31-28. A Virginia team that's not that good in my opinion. North Carolina still continues to struggle with teams, but Matt Brown, a good legendary head coach, and North Carolina's a team, they still have some things they have to work out, but nevertheless, they beat Virginia. Kansas beat Oklahoma State. That's a shocker to me. Kansas State, not Kansas. Kansas has been playing, pretty good, and they was able to get ranked, during this, season and everything like that. And Kansas was able to pull off a good Oklahoma State team, guys. Oklahoma State was ranked very, very high at one point, and Kansas was able to beat them. This is a good win for Kansas program, being able to compete with a team like Oklahoma State that has probably a little bit more talent than them, but huge victory for Kansas. Let me look at the other teams. Pitt beat Syracuse. Syracuse was ranked, only held them to 9 points. A Pitt team had a lot right. A team that a lot of people thought was going to be really, really good this season. Took a couple of losses, but yeah, Pittsburgh beat Syracuse and probably going to knock Syracuse out from being ranked. But good victory for Pitt. North Carolina State beat Wake Forest. Like I said, two ranked teams. That was a ranked matchup. North Carolina State beat them 30-21. I would figure, that was basically an offense versus defensive game, and North Carolina State was able to get the victory there. So it's probably gonna knock Wake Forest out from being ranked and probably move North Carolina State up a little bit. But a good, ACC matchup. And let me see, Kentucky beat Missouri 21-17. Two teams, I thought Kentucky would beat Missouri a little bit better than they did, but Kentucky has struggled, this season. Will Levis was hurt, earlier on in the season, and they lost to South Carolina and stuff like that. But Will Levis, a guy that I thought would be doing more than what he's doing now, definitely, was looked at as one of the best quarterbacks, in this upcoming draft. So, but they got the victory. They beat a tough Missouri team, even though Missouri's, it's not good offensively. They have one of the best defenses in the SEC. So, good victory for Kentucky. Minnesota beat Nebraska 20-13. Like I said, a team in Nebraska that's struggling. Looking for a new head coach. After Scott Frost, and Minnesota team a couple of years ago had a pretty good team in Minnesota, but Minnesota was able to get the victory. Iowa beat Purdue 24-3. Florida beat Texas A&M. I did not see that coming. I thought Texas A&M was going to get that victory at home. Florida got a huge victory over Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher definitely on the hot seat. It's going to be interesting to see what Texas A&M do with him. I don't think they're going to get rid of him. He has a huge buyout, and I think Texas A&M just going to have to roll with him. But he should definitely be on the hot seat. I think they fall to 3-6. Not good with a team that was considered in the preseason to be one of the best teams in the SEC West, and 6 losses on the season. That's crazy. Huge victory for Florida with Billy Napier. Good win over a good Texas A&M team. I know a lot of people say Texas A&M is not that good, but still, to be able to beat a team like Texas A&M at their house, nevertheless, huge victory for Florida. Wisconsin beat Maryland 23-10. Team in Wisconsin that's been struggling, but Maryland, pretty good, talented team. But that game could have went either way. In my opinion, going into it. But Wisconsin proved that there was the better team there and got the victory. Georgia Tech beat Virginia Tech 28-27. Like I said, Georgia Tech is looking for a new head coach right now. And I've heard some rumors maybe Deion Sanders might go there, but I don't think Deion is going anywhere. I think he's going to stay put at Jackson State. But Georgia Tech is a team that's looking for a new head coach, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Virginia Tech been struggling. If I'm not mistaken, I think Virginia Tech lost to Old Dominion early on in the season. For some reason, they can't beat Old Dominion. Old Dominion might be the best, Virginia team in college football. I'm not sure, but Virginia Tech is struggling. Uh, Definitely going to be watching those two teams, see what happens. And for the most part, yeah, Baylor beat Oklahoma. That shocked me. I thought Oklahoma was going to get the victory, but Brent Venables is still struggling, on his first year as a head coach. But I really do believe that, Brent Venables is going to get things turned around there. You just have to give him time. Baylor, good team with Dave Aranda there. Great defensive-minded coach. And Dave Aranda could be on some people's, head coaching replacement list. Baylor, he's done a good job with Baylor, and he's a great coach, and he's a winning, coach at Baylor. So definitely a coach to be looking out for, and I expect him to be one of the top. Might be getting a better jobs, at another institution, but he's doing a heck of a job at Baylor. I definitely wouldn't mind having him, call out defense at Alabama. But I'm going. Let me see. Yeah, Iowa State beat West Virginia 31-14. Like I said, I can't gauge Iowa State. West Virginia, uh, not so good team. They got Jaden Daniels over there, but West Virginia, it's a team. Needs some improvement, of course. And Iowa State, like I said, you can't gauge them. They always a good team. Tough team to play against, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the Big 12. Washington State beat Stanford. Like I said, Stanford. David Shaw's probably on his way out. Washington State. A team that hasn't been the best in the Pac-12, but they was able to win big, 52-14. So, like I said, David Shaw's probably on his way out. I think he's a good person. Very very good coach, but just can't get it done at Stanford and everything like that. And Liberty beat Arkansas, guys. I did not see that coming. Hugh Freeze got a 2-point victory over Arkansas, a team Arkansas I thought was really, really good. And Liberty pulled it off. That's another coach that's going to be on people's radar, to be their next head coach. Hugh Freeze, while he was at Ole Miss in the SEC, he was able to beat Nick Saban 2 years, back to back. Definitely a great offensive mind. I would not mind him to be our offensive coordinator, but it might be a barrier there to, come back to the SEC, but with Greg Sankey. But huge victory for Liberty over a Power 5 team in Arkansas. So that's interesting. Cincinnati beat Navy. Yeah. Let me see. Florida. Yeah, Florida State beat Miami bad, 45-3. I kind of, I knew Florida State was going to win the game, but not like that. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with Miami. They're doing good, recruiting-wise, but they're going to have to, turn around quick. Like I said, Myra Cristobal's first year there, and I definitely expect them to turn around, but they definitely going to have to get some things fixed. You would like to have some momentum going into next season. And right now, Miami's on the downslope. Florida State is a team that's done pretty well this season, and look like Florida State is getting back to where they can play some winning football. Norvell is doing a heck of a job with Florida State, and definitely a team to look out for, in the ACC. They're definitely coming up. Mississippi State beat Auburn 39-33. Auburn's Caleb Williams came in, it was his first game, coaching their team, and he seems like, he's going to get Auburn. He seems like he's, inspiring the team to play better, to be able to go on the road to Mississippi State and almost beat Mississippi State. That's huge. And if I'm Auburn, which I'm not, but if I'm Auburn, you definitely have to consider him as being, your next head coach. He played there, one of y'all best running backs, and he definitely did something to get Auburn to play Mississippi State close like that. So if I'm Auburn, give him a chance. Give him a chance to be the head coach. Mississippi State, like I said, Mike Leach. Mississippi State started off hot this season, but took a couple of losses, but was able to pull the victory out at home. I know they're looking forward to playing in the Egg Bowl against Ole Miss. So like I said, uh, just too much for Auburn to be able to beat them at home, but they came close. 6 points away from 7 points away from beating them. So that's pretty good for Auburn. But Mississippi State got the victory. South Carolina beat Vanderbilt 38-27. I expected South Carolina to win that game. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much all that happened in Week 10. And going to be interesting in these next couple of weeks. And we winding down to who's the best and who's going to be in the playoffs. It's going to be interesting. But if you guys haven't, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.